Hey guys, how are you this morning? This is Beth Murphy speaking to you. We are in the middle of our countdown, and the title is The Darkside, the INFJ Personality. This was written by Amelia Brown, and I got it from introvertdear.com. So we've already done number 1, which was stubbornness. We did high expectations. We moved on to moodiness and all the bright aspects of our personality type. Number 4 is being too harsh. Yay! Yeah, I'm too harsh. All right, so let's read this. It's pretty short. We love giving helpful advice, and we're often able to see a situation from many sides. If you want to hear only what you want to hear, do not come to your INFJ friend. We give honest opinions, and we try to do so gently to soften the blow. Trust me when I say that our honesty comes from a well-intentioned place. But sometimes we come across as too blunt, judgmental, or harsh. We don't mean to be cruel, though, and we're sorry for the times that we were. Know that if your INFJ friend is telling you something you don't want to hear, it's because they're genuinely concerned about you and want only good things for you. INFJs may be too brutally honest, but we're rarely malicious. Absolutely. It's funny, I'm reacting to the word malicious. If I do have evil thoughts, but they're fleeting and they're always up in my head and they're pretty cartoonish, like I'm not actually going to entertain any of that. So I don't think I'm ever malicious. It's just not our nature. I think because of our empathy, we automatically know what it would feel like to have that done to us. So no, it is innocent, even if it comes out our mouths sternly. I think it's more an issue of impatience. Okay, so let me just glance back at this. It says about how we can see things from many sides. So sometimes that's where my impatience is coming from directly. I have a gigantic sense of how it feels to be on the other side of everything. I can jump into the other person's shoes. I feel like you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then sometimes I'll get my back up like, hey, you don't want that done to you. Hypocrisy is kind of a theme that I work with sometimes because I don't like seeing hypocrisy, but I have to remember people honestly are doing the best they can. They really don't see what we see. Remember, 80% of the population is not the intuitive feelers. And you guys are my focus, the 20%. I want us to do more. And some people resent that from our group. I don't mean my personal group, just the intuitive feelers, because they already feel like they're beaten up by the world as it is. Having that strong empathy, it can feel difficult for us. But as I like to say, to whom much is given, much is expected. So if you remember that you have so much more in your toolkit, you will perhaps have more patience for others, and you can readily remember they're not working with all the tools that you're working with. They really can't see how it is in other people's shoes. So they get angry more than we do, I think. They just can't reverse those roles. They're just not there. They just don't have the spiritual growth to understand they're all part of each other. And that's why I have this channel, and that's why I focus on what I focus on, because the intuition part of us, to me, it is the connection, literally. If you're experiencing the consciousness of being in a place where you have high intuition, you've learned to depend on your intuition, and it feels natural to you. The way I look at it as a metaphysician, it's because you're on that way to that oneness where, the golden rule, look how many religions, I think it's 13 at least, have some version of the golden rule. in their creed. Do unto others. Okay. So that's where sometimes I'll bark at somebody. And you only hurt the ones you love. But that's because they're right next to you. It's not like you're seeking them out. So don't get caught up in that drama. The drama of the phrase, you only hurt the ones you love. It's just because you're living with them. It's not, it's not personal. But sometimes I will be impatient because they can't see what they're doing. They're still coming from the more ego mind, that 80% that I call the sensor thinkies. They're still operating from that ego mind. So you have to have a lot of compassion for them, because what that means is they're still living from a more fear-based reality. So wouldn't you see how the compassion can come forward now when you remember that? That's the difference between you and them. So that helps me from being harsh, but still I had to work that out of me, and I'm still doing it. I still have to practice patience, kindness. You know what I'm trying to say. So let's go on back and let me glance at the article. We are going to tell you, we're not going to tell you what you want to hear. We're going to tell you what you asked us. I think that's because I know I really love answering stuff. And I know my other INFJ friends do, too. If you ask us something, we really want to give you the whole experience. We want to share with you everything we're feeling. So we pick our words carefully. That's why I joke about the air quotes. Really annoying with my quotes, but it's because if there's not a word that fits, I don't really want to use that word, and I need you to know that. And some of you have said that you do that too, and it's kind of funny. You can pick us out in a crowd, right? We're the ones doing the air quotes. So we are going to be honest, because we don't know any other way. We're not going to coddle you. The best I think we could do is to bite our lip. I have learned to do that as the years have gone on, and I've found that I hurt people. That's not the goal. The goal is peace. The goal is always peace, people. That's obvious. There's no winning. There's no winning. There's just, do you feel okay? Do I feel okay? Whoever you're dealing with, you just want both of you to feel okay, and you kind of navigate it. So we have to be thoughtful and kind and soft, and I'm sure you do the same things I do. If you have something not so great, you say about 8 other great things and cushion it. And I like to use myself as an example too. That way it's not personalized. If they're going to glean something from it, that's their right. So you just use yourself as an example when you're trying to give to someone, unless they're asking. And then just use your intuition and your empathy. Sometimes when people ask you stuff, they might not really want to know. They might want a watered down version, and then just give them what they want. Give them what they're asking for. They can always ask for more if you just kind of touch upon the answer lightly. And then they're just saying that INFJs are just concerned. And if we did say something, that's because we love you, and we believe that we see more than you do. I've read that about our type. I experience it in my life. What happens is, now I'm thinking of my husband, which I talk about a lot because he's not our type. He's practically the opposite. And what I have read about us, I find true, is that because we like patterns and we're noticing things, we kind of got everybody's number. So we're going to know what the person's going to do before they know it. And that's that little spot that I have to be careful of, because it's almost like, come on, I know you're going to do this. Can you just, speed it up a little? And say what we all know you're going to say. Well, they deserve to kind of develop whatever their opinion is on their own. They really, really, really do deserve that. Just because you believe you know what they're going to say doesn't mean you get to jump in there. So, patience is really big for me. Even when I was a teenager, I remember that song came out from Guns N' Roses, and I just was so drawn to it. And even as I became an adult, I was like, I don't really know what that means in my 20s. What does that mean? Well, duh. It means what you think it means. Exercise some patience. That's how the world speaks to us. It can speak to get your attention through song and so forth. So patience has always been big for me. It's been big for, I'm thinking of another, maybe one or two of my INFJ friends. It's really funny that we have this, we've always bonded over the impatience. We do our eyebrow. And we give each other the telepathic conversation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would just caution you to remember that the goal is peace. There are no winners. You want to always have love in your heart. If you have a question, put your hand right on your heart. It helps, okay? Helps remind you of where you want to be coming from. Put your hand on your heart and say, what would love do? And you will get an answer. It works. This is a very good practice. Try to exercise a little patience, so we don't blurt things out. I'm guilty of that too. Because everything seems so obvious to us, because I feel like we have more information coming in. We're just reading energy. We're with the empathy part of us. So I feel we do know more. But it doesn't mean that people around us aren't going to get to that realization, and they're going to do so in their own time. So if you're in a jam, put your hand on your heart, say, what would love do? Wait for your answer, and then try as best as you can to execute that. I have to have more patience. I already did this morning because I'm impatient with my husband. When he gets angry at inanimate objects, it doesn't make sense to me. And yet, I can kind of understand it. I can't understand it for me, but I get that a lot of people get angry when something breaks or disappoints them. Because 80% of the world, remember, is not us. 80% of the world is not intuitive feelers. And they are different. So my real world example is we had a water tank empty out to our basement. Now nothing was ruined, and I dealt with it. I just got a bucket. I don't care. I totally don't care. There's so much in the world to care about. That's not going to faze me. But to some people, the idea of something being out of control is very upsetting to them. And those are some of those other types. The sensor thinker types can be like that. If something is irrational to them, it just messes them up. Like, why would that break? And they take it personal. So we just have to remember, everybody's not wired like us. And what I do, honestly, I just hang out with people that get me. I have a core group of INFJs. I'm never disappointed by them. We always give each other the exact appropriate amount of advice if needed. It's not that we shouldn't interact with everyone, but just if you are frustrated in life a lot, and maybe you're at the office surrounded by sensor thinkers, try to cultivate that little world with the intuitive feelers. Go find some. And they don't have to be INFJs. I'm going to do a video about the expressions of the NFers. Really, it's the intuitive feeling part that you resonate most with, So that's kind of what the tie that binds us is, that deep feeling that we have. So that's my advice for you. That's my advice for me. Remember, to whom much is given, much is expected, and then do that exercise where you practice, put your hand on your heart, say, what would love do? All right, and I'm always here for you guys. I'm just here sporadically. Why? Because I'm an IFJ and I'm moody. But when I come to you, it's when I'm feeling good, when my energy is up. So, All right, I'll see you whenever I get a good idea. Okay, love you guys. Take care. Bye.